Hi, this is Tom from Rocket Restorations, and today we're going to go over if this car is a special, unique car. There's some stuff on here that I was going to go over in the last video we did that we didn't cover, and I really want to go over it this time because I'm pretty sure I know what this thing is, but I want to share the information with you because I think this thing's actually a pretty special car. So to start out here, look at the VIN. It is 100835. What that means is that this was an extremely early car, probably first couple days of production. And we're curious what the scheduled production day of this thing is. So now let's look at the fender tag. You know, it's kind of funny, when I bought this thing, I didn't even notice any of this because it didn't really matter. But the more I look at it, the more I think this thing is pretty special. So the SPD on this is 730. That's July 30th. Well, the interesting part is the production started on these cars on August 1st, 1967. Again, 68 model year. They started production in August of 67 for the 68 model year. And then also, the VON, the vehicle order number, starts with a 9, which means it's a special order car. So, from what I can tell, this car was built on the first day of production, and it was probably built early. And you know, we've seen a lot of cars like this over the years, and from what I can tell, I would bet this one was what was called a dealer reveal car. So what they would do is they would build a couple of each model to show the dealers when the new cars came out for the model year, and then they would get shipped to the regional offices. We have a lot of documentation on these, especially the earlier cars, because 1967 and before, you can get the IBM cards for these, so you can tell what dealer they came from. Unfortunately, we don't have it for this one, but again, I can kind of do the clues. So the super early VIN number, the super early, you know, the basically pre-production SPD, scheduled production date, and the special order VON, that I'm pretty sure there was a pretty good chance that this was sent to the Portland regional office as the dealer reveal car. So they would show the dealers the new cars for the year, then they would get their order pads for the year, and then make their initial orders for the initial inventory. So likely this car was built quite a bit before August 1st, because they would start pre-production in July when the 67s ended, and they would build a few of these, and then they would build a few of these, you know, identically optioned. The only thing that's interesting about this one is, honestly, for an Imperial, it's not a super high option car. It has AC, it has auto temp, has a few other things, but it's missed a bunch of stuff. So like with the convertible we have over here, that thing has Sentinel and cruise control and like all different options. This one doesn't have much of that, which is kind of interesting. But from the evidence I see, I'm pretty sure this thing was a dealer reveal car back in 1960. September of 67 is when they would have shown. So all the dealers from a certain region, and we're up in Washington, so Portland was the region, that all the dealers would go to the headquarters and basically order all the new cars. I just think that's kind of neat that this thing was the car that other cars were ordered from. So there's a good chance, because you see this a lot too, like if there was a certain color the dealer reveals, the dealers would order a lot of that color. And I love this color. Like, you know, green's obviously not everybody's favorite, but it's the real dark, deep green with some metallic in it. And it's a really good looking color with the green interior. All right, let me decode this fender tag for you, because these are kind of unique with the Imperials. They have a ton of options on them. So let's kind of go through and I'll help you decode this fender tag. So in the 69 and up cars, I pretty much have most of those fender tags memorized. The 68 tags are a little more complicated. This is the Galen Gobier book, and it is super valuable to do this because the numbers are pretty random on here, and it's you know, trying to figure out these codes is a little bit complicated. So I have some of this stuff memorized, but like the codes on the up are going to be a little bit harder to do. Let me put some shadow in here so you can see a little bit. So starting from the bottom left, YM23 is the first four of the VIN. Y is Imperial, M is medium, 23 is two-door coupe. 81 is the 440 engine, 5 is the transmission, 83 is the tires, which again, I'm not 100% sure what that is. I'm gonna have to look some of these up. 730 is the SPD, and then the 968250 is the VON. I looked up the tire code. That is 77515 white wall, which I'm pretty sure was the standard tire in Imperial. And then on the second line, the 0 and 6, those are molding codes. Under the AX is the rear axle. 2 is, I think that's 2 9s. And an open, it would have an 8 under the X if it was a sure grip. M3F is the interior color, or interior code. M is medium. 3 is the split bucket seat. And then F is the color, which is green. GG1 is the color, which is green. The G under the U is green upper door frame. And then under the S, a stripe, which had a black stripe. I think maybe that was the molding. Again, I'm not super familiar with the Imperial codes. So yeah, sorry for the jump cuts here, but I gotta, I don't have all this stuff memorized, so I gotta look it up. The M3F for the interior is buckets with leather. GG1 is racing green metallic, which is, again, one of my favorite 68 colors in green. And then the UBS, under the S is B, so it had a black side stripe, which I'm guessing is gone because it doesn't have it now, unless that refers to the moldings, which it might. All right, and the next line up, under the capital D is 9, which is disc brakes. Capital K is 8, which is power windows. The P6 is rear speaker. Q9 is power antenna. R4 is AM search tune radio. S3 is auto temp. V4, we actually don't know what that one is. That one's not in the book. W9 is spare tire cover. Again, a lot of this stuff I'm pretty sure was standard on an Imperial. I know the spare tire cover was. X1 is tinted glass, Y1 is vinyl top. And then on the top line, the lowercase b5 is rear armrest. Lowercase h7 is hood turn signals. Lowercase j0 is cornering lamps. And K7 is right hand mirror. I know that was optional, so it does have a few options. But yeah, interesting option car for a dealer demo car. It is kind of interesting, the options on the car, because for the dealer reveals, they would put the options on the car that they were trying to push for the year or two. You know, more profitable ones they think people would want. So they would put those on the dealer demonstrators so the dealers could see them and order them. And then going through our extensive library of books, we have the 1968 Imperial data book. These are super cool. So these are all the options you can get on these cars. Imperial, if you want more than luxury in your car. So they have a 68 Imperial versus the competition, which they considered. It's also kind of telling and interesting to see what they thought the competition was. The Cadillac DeVille, the Lincoln 4-door, which I think was still the suicide door at that point. The Electra 228 Custom and the Oldsmobile 98. So the Buick and the Oldsmobile. That's what they considered their competition at the time. This is kind of an interesting comparison. You know, the Imperial had disc brakes. Only the Ford had that at that point. You know, they had the torsion bar suspension. It's interesting. It says the standard tire size is 915. It said on the fender tag it's 775. So I wonder if that was optional smaller tire or the fender tag decode was just wrong. Not sure. So here's the index for all the stuff. Models and features. Imperial says luxury plus, and the largest V8 engine ever offered by Chrysler Corporation, plus torque-like automatic transmission, plus torsion bar front suspension, the same type used in the finest European road machines, plus body and ride silencing that lets you hear the quiet, plus style and beauty in a class of its own. Kind of interesting thing about the 68 Imperial is this is the first time they were really making efforts to reduce the noise, the NVH, noise, vibration, harshness. So they actually have rubber isolators on the rear springs, on the front cross member, and on the front stub. I don't think the Chrysler didn't get that till 69, so it was unique on the Imperial. And they really did make these things ride better. The problem is once the bushings wore out, they tended to handle a little bit worse because the rubber would wear out and they'd move. So there was LeBaron, Crown Convertible, Crown Coupe, Crown 4-door hardtop, Imperial Sedan, and 1968 features. Convertible's a good looking car. There's the Coupe, just like this one. It was blue with white interior in the book. The 4-door hardtop. There's hardtop or sedan. There's the sedan. And there's the green color of this one. Antiqued bronze inlays and instrument panel. Very luxurious. Most of them have fallen off this one, but most of them are there. So here's all the standard stuff here. Again, a lot of the stuff we were going over on the fender tag was standard on the Imperial, so it wasn't extra cost. 4 ashtrays and cigarette lighters. That was important back then. Here's the features, the standard stuff, all the full gauges, the radio, antiqued bronze doors, convenient glove box, interior trim panel, automatic doorway entrance enlarger. Huh. Boy, I didn't know that. So, exclusive feature on the Crown Coupe, the convertible enables passengers to get in and out of the rear compartment with greater ease. When the front passenger seat is folded forward, it makes the power seat adjuster slide on the front seat forward as it will travel. Wow, this one doesn't do that, so it must not work. That's pretty cool. The door handles, we came over that in the last one. That's pretty cool. They have standard disc brakes. You actually get a rear heater on these too, which is kind of neat. Of course, they all came with the automatic. They would never put a three-speeder stick in Imperial. Way too luxurious. Convertible rear window made out of glass, not plastic, which is really nice. All right, options and equipment. The auto temp was, of course, optional. Interesting, the revision on this is 967, so production started in August. So this came out a little bit after production. So I bet this car was made before this book was made. The rear heat was optional. The auto temp. Tilt wheel, which this does not have a tilt wheel. The convertible does. Bench seat. The headrests were optional. This does not have it. It's also interesting is each side was optional. I've seen a lot of Chryslers and Imperials with just a passenger headrest. So the husband would get his old lady a headrest, but he wouldn't get one for himself. Power vent windows were optional. Power door locks were optional. Safeguard sentinel lighting. Again, that convertible over there has it. Autopilot cruise control. The mobile director was a cool option. So that was the rear seat would fold backwards, and then you have a little bench in there, so you could work in your Imperial. 8-track was optional, but it was interesting because they actually put it underneath the dash because there wasn't room in the dash for it. Here's all the optional equipment. So you actually get a 440 dual is what they called it. You got the dual snorkel air cleaner and dual exhaust. So it wasn't a full 440 HP. I think that was the 360 horse. So these came with the K-code 350 horse with the 4-barrel, but log manifolds, single snorkel air cleaner, and single exhaust. Vinyl roof in different colors. So vinyl roof was optional, so it was actually no, it was standard. It was standard on the Crown, on the 2-door coupe, so it was standard on this. So this had kind of a half vinyl top on them. It's not even a half, it's like a quarter, so it just goes over the rear of the roof there. It's kind of cool. I love going through these data books. It's super, super cool. If you want more than luxury in your car. Safety stuff, drivetrain, cleaner air. Yeah, 350 horse, 480 foot-pounds of torque, which is plenty of torque. 10-to-1 compression. Torque flight, column shift. And then the sugar per axle. Yeah, here's the ISO clamp I was talking about. So these are the ISO clamp rear suspension, so they rode a little bit better. So it's actually rubber that isolates the leaf springs. Front wheel disc brakes, which 4-piston was a good idea. In practice, not so much. They didn't work that well. Unitized body with a front stub. And then all the extra sound deadening on these. They did a bunch of stuff. Dimensions. The anti-rust protection. These were all dipped. But that's the same as any other Mopar. Trailer towing package. Lots of cool stuff. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this one. We just want to go a little more in depth on the numbers on this one, decode the fender tag and go through a data book and figure out if this thing was special or not. And I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure this was a dealer reveal car for the Portland, Oregon region. So it was a pre-production car that, you know, when dealers saw this thing, this is what they used to make the orders off of. So pretty neat car. This thing, I've never been a big Imperial guy. This thing's kind of growing on me though. It's just really clean. I mean, it's got, you know, some paint issues, but the interior is really nice. It drives pretty good. I could use tires pretty bad, but I really like this thing. So, well, thanks everybody for watching. We will talk to you soon.